Jayden and Jordan are just like any other kids their age. They like to play, laugh, and hang out with friends. But there's one problem. Every day they face the same two bullies. These bullies like to pick on them, tease them, call them names, and push them around. It happens so often that Jayden and Jordan don't even look forward to recess anymore. They just want to get through the day without trouble. But Jayden and Jordan are not like the other kids who just stand there and take it. They have something the bullies don't know about, a secret they've been keeping to themselves. You see, for the past few months, they've been training in something powerful with their martial arts teacher, Derek. Derek has been teaching them more than just how to throw punches or kick high. He's been showing them how to stand strong, how to stay calm even when everything around them feels out of control. Under Derek's guidance, Jayden and Jordan have learned discipline, how to control their bodies and their emotions. They've become stronger not just in muscles but in spirit. Derek taught them that real strength isn't about being the biggest or the toughest. It's about knowing when to fight and, more importantly, when not to. Now, as the bullies step closer, something feels different. Jayden and Jordan can feel their hearts racing, but they don't feel scared anymore. They know they've trained for this moment. They know they have the power to stand up for themselves, not just with their fists, but with their courage. Today is the day things change. Meet Jayden and Jordan. 12 years old, but their lives are anything but typical for kids their age. They've faced more pain than most can even begin to imagine. Every day at Riverside Middle School, they walk the same path, through the same hallways, past the same classrooms, where cruel words and sneering glances follow them like a shadow they can't escape. There's a weight they carry that most of their classmates will never understand. It's not just the normal schoolyard teasing that everyone gets, it's something deeper, something more dangerous. It's the hurt that comes from hatred, from ignorance, from people who see them as less than. They carry the heavy burden of being different in a world that doesn't always accept that. Jason and Brad, two of the biggest bullies at Riverside, have made it their mission to torment Jayden and Jordan. It's not just the name-calling. It's not just the teasing. They know exactly how to push their buttons, to break their spirits. They've mocked Jayden for his darker skin, calling him too black or too different. They've teased Jordan for his quiet nature, saying he was too weak, too scared to stand up for himself. It's not just words that cut, it's the power they have over the twins, the way they make them feel less than inferior. Day after day, this is what they've had to endure. It's exhausting, this constant barrage. It's hard enough being a kid in middle school. But for Jayden and Jordan, it feels like there's a target on their backs every single day. They've learned to keep their heads down, to avoid the bullies when they can, to keep quiet and keep moving forward. But the hurt is real. The loneliness is real. And there are days when it feels like they can't take it anymore. The words weigh heavy on their hearts, leaving marks that no one can see. It's a silent pain, one that builds over time and threatens to crush them. But Jayden and Jordan are not just any ordinary kids. They have something inside them, something that the bullies don't know about, something that's been there since they were little, a secret that's quietly shaping their lives. It all started when they were just 7 years old. That's when they met Derek. Derek is more than just a martial arts teacher, he's a mentor, a guide, and most importantly, a friend. Derek didn't just teach them how to kick and punch. He taught them the true meaning of strength, of discipline, and of resilience. He taught them that real power doesn't come from hurting others, it comes from understanding yourself, knowing your worth, and rising above the noise. Derek's dojo became their safe place. It was where they could forget about the outside world, forget about the hurt, the teasing, the pain. Here there was only the sound of their breath, the rhythm of their movements, the feeling of their muscles growing stronger with each passing day. Under Derek's guidance, they learned the power of discipline, of focus, and of inner strength. He taught them that martial arts wasn't just about physical strength, it was about mastering their minds, learning to stay calm in the face of adversity, and rising above whatever life threw at them. And Derek didn't just teach them martial arts. He taught them how to believe in themselves when no one else did. He showed them that they didn't have to accept the way the world treated them. They didn't have to bow down to the hate or the ignorance that surrounded them. They had the power to stand tall, to rise above it all. And that's exactly what they've been preparing for all these years. Today, everything Derek has taught them will be put to the test. Today, Jayden and Jordan aren't the scared, small kids who walk through the schoolyard trying to avoid the bullies. Today, they're different. They've learned what it means to be strong not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. They've learned that the greatest strength lies in staying calm, in controlling their emotions, and in choosing their battles wisely. And when Jason and Brad walk up to them today, they won't see the same twins they've tormented for so long. They'll see something new, something stronger. They'll see the power of discipline, the power of inner strength, and the power of standing up for yourself with dignity. Jason and Brad think they have the upper hand, that the twins are still weak, still scared. But they don't know what Jayden and Jordan have learned. They don't know that every step of the way, Derek has been teaching them how to face this moment without backing down, how to keep their heads high, no matter what. Today, Jayden and Jordan aren't going to let the bullies win. They're not going to fight with fists or with words. They're going to fight with the strength of their hearts and the wisdom they've gained. And that, more than anything else, will be their victory. Today, the underdogs rise. Under Derek's watchful guidance, the twins have become skilled in martial arts disciplines that are not just about fighting, but about mastering one's emotions, staying calm in the face of fear, and using strength for good. Every movement, every step they take, every punch and kick they've learned is rooted in the deep understanding that true strength doesn't come from brute force. It comes from self-control, from having the wisdom to know when to act, and the courage to know when not to. The lessons they've absorbed over the years have shaped them, not just into fighters, but into young men who understand the power of peace, the value of self-respect, and the importance of rising above the negativity that surrounds them. These aren't just lessons they've learned in the dojo, they're lessons that will serve them for a lifetime, lessons that will carry them through any storm that may come their way. And yet, for all the growth they've experienced, nothing prepares them for the world outside those dojo walls, the world that doesn't always understand them, the world that judges them for the color of their skin, the world that doesn't see the heart behind their strength. It's easy to forget, inside the dojo, where the air is thick with concentration, where every move is purposeful, every breath intentional, that there's a harsh world outside where they must put all they've learned into practice. In that quiet space, the discipline feels natural, the rhythm, their movements feels right. But in the world outside, especially in a schoolyard full of mocking voices and sneering eyes, it's a different story. Today, as Jayden and Jordan move through their routines, there's a quiet intensity in the air. Their practice is flawless, a seamless blend of power and control. They're not just moving through the motions, they're fully immersed in the moment, each punch, each block, each twist of their bodies reflecting the years of hard work, sweat, and sacrifice. They've learned that martial arts isn't about perfection, it's about the journey, about striving to be better than you were yesterday, and about becoming the best version of yourself, both physically and mentally. And in this space, it's easy to feel invincible, easy to believe that nothing could ever break the peace they've cultivated inside. But Derek knows that peace can be a fragile thing, and the real test isn't in the calm moments, it's in the storm. Derek watches them closely. His eyes, full of both pride and wisdom, don't miss a beat. He sees the strength in their movements, the determination in their faces. But he also sees the uncertainty in their eyes, the lingering doubt that still sometimes creeps into their hearts. He knows that even the strongest warriors can falter, and that sometimes the hardest battles are fought within. It's why Derek never just taught them to be physically strong. He spent as much time teaching them about resilience, about mental toughness, about how to face the challenges of the world without letting them destroy your spirit. He's been preparing them for moments like this, moments where their strength will be tested, not in the safe confines of the dojo, but in the real world, where things aren't always fair, and where others will try to tear you down for being different. The training isn't over yet, but it's close. They've practiced their forms over and over, and they've perfected the moves with precision. But Derek knows there's one more thing he needs to remind them of. Something he said to them 1,000 times. Something that has become a mantra in their minds. Something that will serve them now more than ever before. His voice, calm and steady, cuts through the air as they take a brief break. Derek, remember, it's not about fighting, it's about control. When you control your mind, your body will follow. What you do today will help you tomorrow. Those words have become more than just instructions, they're a guiding principle, a beacon of light that has led them through every challenge, every struggle, every moment of doubt. Today, those words will mean more than ever, because today is the day their training will be tested, not in the safe space of the dojo, but in the harsh, unpredictable world outside. The world where they can no longer hide behind the protective walls of their mentor's teachings. The world where the bullies, Jason and Brad, await, ready to strike with their cruel words and taunting sneers. But Jayden and Jordan are different now. They're no longer the scared boys who shrink away in fear. They've grown. They've learned. They've trained, not just their bodies, but their minds. The lesson that Derek has been teaching them all along is simple but profound. It's not about how hard you can fight, it's about how hard you can stand. Stand tall when the world tries to make you fall. Stand strong when the voices around you try to tear you down. Stand with the courage of knowing who you are and what you are capable of, even when the world seems against you. Every lesson they've learned in Derek's dojo is leading to this moment. Every drop of sweat, every painful fall, every moment of frustration, every breakthrough. It's all coming to a head now, in the schoolyard where Jason and Brad lurk, waiting to strike. They've pushed Jayden and Jordan to their breaking point time and time again, but today is different. Today, the twins will show them that they've learned something that the bullies will never understand. They'll show them that no matter how many times you're knocked down, you can always rise back up. The challenge ahead isn't just a physical one, it's a mental and emotional battle, one that will push Jayden and Jordan to their limits. But it's a battle they're ready for. Because Derek has taught them that the greatest weapon they have isn't their fists or their feet, it's their hearts. The heart to stand up for themselves, the heart to rise above hate, the heart to know that they are worth more than any insult or attack thrown their way. Today, as they prepare to face their greatest challenge yet, Jayden and Jordan are no longer the same boys who first walked into Derek's dojo. They are stronger, not just in body, but in spirit. And today they will show the world that strength is not just about fighting, it's about standing firm in who you are and refusing to be broken, no matter what life throws your way. The moment has arrived. It feels like time slows down as the bullies, confident in their usual tactics, march toward Jayden and Jordan. Jason and Brad, familiar with their power to intimidate, don't even realize that this time the twins won't be backing down. They don't see the shift that has taken place within them, the change that's been brewing for years, quietly transforming these two boys into something far stronger than they once were. They approach with the same smug looks, ready to tear into the twins with cruel words, with jabs and taunts they've repeated over and over again. They expect fear. They expect weakness. They expect the same boys they've always known, the ones who cower in the corner, who try to avoid confrontation at all costs. But this time they're wrong. Jayden and Jordan stand side by side, their backs straighter than before, their faces set in quiet determination. It's not the kind of anger that burns in their eyes, not the kind of fire that drives a reckless need for revenge. No, this is something different. This is the calm that comes from knowing your worth, the quiet confidence that comes from years of preparation and practice. The twins have learned, under Derek's careful guidance, that true power doesn't need to shout to be heard. It doesn't need to strike first to be strong. True power comes from within, and when you learn to harness that power, to control it, the world begins to change around you. Jason approaches first, as he always does, his hand already outstretched for the push he thinks will knock Jayden off balance. It's a simple move, one he's made hundreds of times, but this time, Jayden doesn't flinch. He doesn't take a step back. Instead, he takes a deep breath, grounding himself, remembering the countless hours spent training, the lessons Derek instilled in him, the discipline he's learned to trust. When Jason's shove connects, Jayden stumbles for just a moment, but he doesn't fall. He's steady, even in the face of what would have once sent him reeling. And in that moment, something shifts in the air. The bullies pause, sensing that something is different, but they don't quite understand why. Jayden, regaining his balance, straightens up and looks Jason square in the eye. It's not fear that meets his gaze, it's calm, it's strength, and above all, it's control. But it's Jordan who steps forward next, his movements smooth, fluid, and deliberate. He's the one who feels the surge of quiet power that's been growing within them, and he knows that it's time. He's learned all these years that the true test isn't when you're in the safety of the dojo, surrounded by understanding and encouragement. The true test is when you step into the world, into the place where others seek to diminish you, to make you feel small. It's in these moments that you have to show what you've really learned. And Jordan knows he's ready. As Jason lunges again, attempting to push past Jayden to shove him further, Jordan reacts without hesitation. He moves swiftly, his body moving through the same practiced defensive technique Derek had taught them. A sharp block, a swift shift of his feet, and suddenly Jason's shove is redirected, his force not meeting resistance, but flowing away from its target. In the blink of an eye, Jason's momentum shifts, and before he knows it, Jordan's foot is planted firmly in the ground as he executes a precise, controlled kick. The force is enough to send Jason stumbling backward, his feet slipping from under him as he crashes into the ground with a loud thud. The impact sends a wave of silence through the playground. The sound of Jason's fall is almost deafening in its finality, like the sound of an old pattern finally breaking, like the world shifting underfoot. For a moment, everything is still. The kids watching from the sidelines, the other students who've been silently observing the twins' torment for weeks, months, years, can hardly believe what they've just witnessed. Jason, the bully who's always been so sure of himself, is left on the ground, stunned and struggling to regain his footing. Brad, standing beside him, looks equally shocked, his smug expression faltering as he tries to make sense of what just happened. The bullies who once felt untouchable, who took pleasure in watching others suffer, are now the ones on the receiving end of something they've never experienced: true power. Not through domination or violence, but through control, through discipline, through the unwavering strength of knowing who you are and what you stand for. But this moment isn't just about Jason and Brad. It's about the twins Jayden and Jordan, who have finally found their voices in a world that's tried to silence them. It's about the years of practice, of hard work, of quiet moments in Derek's dojo where they learned that fighting back doesn't always mean throwing punches. It means standing firm, being unshaken by the cruelty of others. It means showing that you are not afraid to be who you are, no matter what anyone else says or does. And today, for the first time, the twins are showing the world just how strong they've become. They are showing the bullies that there's power in silence, in self-control, in calmness under pressure. They are showing that strength is not about who can yell the loudest or who can throw the hardest punch. It's about standing tall when the world wants you to shrink, about remaining true to yourself when the world tries to tear you apart. As Jordan stands tall, his body steady and confident, there's a quiet sense of victory in the air. He doesn't need to say anything. His actions have already spoken louder than any words could. Jason, still reeling from the shock of the fall, looks up at Jordan with wide eyes. His mouth opens to say something, anything, but the words seem to stick in his throat. He doesn't know how to respond, doesn't know how to react to the new reality in front of him. The twins are not the same boys they were before. They are no longer the targets of mockery. They are no longer the victims of bullying. Today, they are the ones who stand strong. They are the ones who have taken control of their own lives, their own destiny. The silence stretches on for a moment longer before the first murmurs start. The other students, who have been watching in stunned silence, begin to speak, some with admiration, some with surprise, some with disbelief. But for Jayden and Jordan, it doesn't matter. The moment isn't about the attention, it's about the truth they've found within themselves. It's about the strength they've built over the years, not just in their bodies, but in their hearts. And as the playground slowly begins to fill with whispers, they know this is just the beginning. They know that standing up for themselves today has only been the first step. But it's a step that will echo in their lives forever. A step that will remind them, and everyone else, that true power comes from within, and that nothing, not even the bullies, can take that away. Jayden and Jordan's journey hasn't been easy, but they've always had their parents' unwavering support. Grace and Marcus, both hardworking and loving, have raised their sons to believe in justice, kindness, and standing up for what's right. It hasn't been an easy path for their family. No path ever is when you're raising children who face challenges every day, challenges that most people can't even begin to understand. But through it all, Grace and Marcus have been there for their boys, offering a safe haven, a place of understanding, and a voice of encouragement when the world outside tries to make them doubt their worth. They've shown their sons that, no matter what others may say or do, they are never alone. Together, they are a team stronger than anything that could try to break them. The family sitting together around the dinner table, the familiar warmth of home surrounding them. Grace, a woman with gentle eyes and a soft but firm voice, looks at her boys with pride. The day's trials are behind them, but the weight of the world still presses on their shoulders. Grace speaks with a quiet strength, her words carrying the weight of a mother who's seen her children struggle and rise time and time again. Grace, you boys are stronger than you know. Never let anyone take that from you. Her voice is calm yet full of conviction. She smiles softly, her love for her son shining through. Grace has always known that her boys have a special kind of strength, one that doesn't rely on fighting or brute force, but on the quiet power of resilience. She's watched them grow, watched them face their struggles with a courage she admires, and she knows that whatever comes their way, they have what it takes to overcome it. Grace's words aren't just a reminder, they're a reflection of everything she's taught her sons over the years. They know the strength of their mother's love, the way she's taught them to keep going even when it feels impossible. She's always believed in them, even when the world hasn't, and that belief has carried them through their hardest days. Marcus, their father, a man whose quiet strength is as much a part of the family's foundation as anything else. He's built his life around hard work, honesty, and doing what's right, even when it's not the easiest path to follow. Marcus looks at his sons with the same pride in his eyes, but his approach is different, a little firmer, a little more direct. He offers each boy a strong handshake, his grip firm but warm. Marcus, remember, you don't need to fight to win. But when you do, you fight with honor. His words are simple, but they carry the weight of years of wisdom. Marcus has always believed that fighting isn't the answer, it's the last resort, the final step when all other options have been exhausted. But when you do find yourself in a battle, whether it's physical, emotional, or moral, you do so with integrity, with the knowledge that the fight isn't about hurting others, it's about standing up for what's right. His boys have learned that lesson well, even when the world has tried to teach them otherwise. Marcus's advice isn't just about how to fight, it's about how to carry yourself in the face of adversity. It's about standing with honor, knowing that you are not fighting because you want to win, but because you believe in something greater than yourself. For Jayden and Jordan, these lessons have shaped who they are. They've learned that strength doesn't come from power or violence, but from the quiet courage to stand up, to speak out, and to do what's right, no matter how difficult it may be. The twins sitting together at the table, their faces softening as they listen to their parents. They don't always show it, but they've taken every word to heart. Their parents' guidance has been the foundation of everything they've learned, and even in their hardest moments, they carry these lessons with them. Grace and Marcus have always reminded Jayden and Jordan that strength isn't about picking fights. It's about knowing when to stand your ground and when to walk away. But when you do face injustice, when the world pushes you to the brink, it's about standing firm, standing together, and fighting for what's right. And through it all, they've shown their boys that no matter how big the world may seem, as long as they have each other and the unwavering support of their parents, they will always have the strength to face whatever comes their way. When the bullies realized they were up against more than they could handle, they turned away, defeated and humiliated. Jason and Brad, once so sure of their power, found themselves stunned, unable to comprehend what had just happened. The confidence they'd always carried with them shattered in an instant. The air, once filled with mocking laughter, now felt thick with disbelief. As they looked up at the twins, the realization dawned on them. This wasn't just a typical confrontation. Jayden and Jordan had shown them something they never expected: true strength. It wasn't in dominance or aggression. It wasn't about humiliating others or forcing them into submission. The twins had proven that the greatest power comes from within, from the courage to stand up for yourself, even when the odds seem stacked against you. Jayden and Jordan, walking away from the confrontation, their heads high and their steps steady. There's no boast in their stride, no arrogance. They don't need to say anything. Their silence speaks volumes. They don't need the approval of anyone to know that they've done what was right. As they walk, their backs straight, their faces calm but resolute, they are no longer the boys who were picked on. They are the young men who have learned the true meaning of strength. The world may have tried to break them, to make them feel small, but they are walking away knowing that they have overcome, not just for themselves, but for everyone who has ever felt powerless. Jayden and Jordan didn't just defend themselves, they proved that true strength lies in standing up, not just for yourself, but for everyone who feels powerless. In that moment, they became more than just brothers facing down a couple of bullies. They became symbols of resilience, of justice, of standing firm against all odds. They didn't need to fight to win. They simply needed to stand tall, to hold their ground, to show the world that there are forces stronger than hate and cruelty. And in doing so, they inspired others to do the same, to stand up for what's right, to speak out against injustice, and to know that even in the darkest of moments, they are never truly alone. Derek, standing at the sidelines, a proud smile on his face as he watches the twins walk away, confident and unshaken. He has seen them grow, from the shy, unsure boys who walked into his dojo years ago to the young men who now walk with a quiet power that radiates from them. Derek's pride isn't in the fact that they've physically triumphed over their bullies, it's in the way they've handled themselves, in the way they've taken the lessons he's taught them and applied them to the real world, standing firm in the face of adversity. Derek, ever the teacher, watches with a proud smile as the twins walk away. His role in their lives has never been just about teaching them how to defend themselves, it's been about teaching them how to live with honor, with integrity, and with the understanding that true victory isn't in defeating others. It's in knowing that you've done the right thing, that you've stood firm for what matters, and that you've carried yourself with dignity in the face of hate. Derek has been the steady hand guiding them, showing them that strength comes from within, and today Jayden and Jordan have shown the world that they've learned this lesson well. The twins, walking side by side, their shoulders squared, their heads held high. The sounds of the playground fade behind them, replaced by a quiet sense of accomplishment. They've faced the bullies, stood up for themselves, and shown everyone that courage isn't about physical strength, it's about the strength to be yourself, to do what's right, and to stand against the forces that try to bring you down. In the face of hate, the twins learned that the real victory isn't in beating the bullies, it's in knowing that you've done the right thing. Thanks to their training, their parents, and Derek's steady guidance, Jayden and Jordan have become champions of justice, champions of their own lives, and champions for everyone who has ever felt powerless. They've shown us all that true strength is not about overpowering others, it's about lifting yourself up and lifting others with you. And in doing so, they've proved that sometimes the greatest victory is simply standing tall. Jayden and Jordan's story is one of courage, strength, and resilience. It's a story that reminds us all that no matter the odds, no matter how tough the world may seem, we all have the power within us to stand up, to rise above, and to be the change we wish to see in the world. The twins have proven that even when others try to bring you down, the true strength lies in standing tall, in doing what's right, and in believing in yourself when the world doubts you. Their journey has just begun, and the lessons they've learned will shape not only their future, but the world around them. Subscribe now and witness how their strength changes the world around them.